For the fifth time in a row, the international Munich-Breslau rally was run in high summer this year, starting, of course, from the Bavarian capital, the home of the Munich Beer Fest. The old town, its cobbled pedestrian streets have become a very well-known tourist attraction throughout the year. Of course, the Gothic cathedral, which dominates the city, and the two towers with their famous copper domes, paling into insignificance for the competitors when they consider the task ahead of them. The start from another of the famous squares, the Beerfest and Carnival Theresienwiese. And the event running from Germany through into Poland met with ideal weather conditions for these competitors. Competitors from Austria, Belgium, France, from Italy, from Holland, from Switzerland, and of course a few from Germany as well. Altogether 192 teams, 98 bikers, 21 trucks and 72 four-wheel drive vehicles. Well, heading them off in their MAN, Josef Aigner and Franz Holub, who will be familiar to Euro Truck Trial viewers. And they head off from the road link between Munich and Seftenberg near Dresden, 563 kilometers to the first night's bivouac halt. It's an 8-day event, 7 special off-road stages and tarmac road links in between. Well, the first morning of the event, a small briefing session for the salient points with the organisers, explanations on the road book, and it's eventually time to get going. The bikers heading off. This is Hans-Jürgen Schmidt on his KTM, Alois Rausch on an MZ, and Lance Kramer on a Yamaha, taking varying different speed options through the water. This is the Eckstein and Feghelm duo. Somewhere in the mud, there they are in their Jeep. This is the Hahle and Baum Suzuki, and Engbert Fishing in a Range Rover. Then the trucks, 21 of them. This is the Iveco of Kuhl, Franken, Engelmann, German trio. Ubiquitous Unimog here as well. Gisbert, Hindernach and Zellinger. And an MAN, Andreas Pusch and Philipp Jakob. Again, two familiar names from the Euro Truck Trial. Well, the first major test is in what the Germans refer to as a brown coal mine. It's an open cast mine for, yes, brown coal. It's the poor, smoky, low-burning type of fuel found in this area of the former Eastern Germany. 21-kilometer circuit, and the competitors make 2 laps of it. As you can see, some impressive downhill slopes. We just saw Allinger and Holub's MAN truck. This is Thomas Schmidt on his KTM. One of the favourites in the motorcycle class, and as you can see, the soil that's left behind presenting a fairly bizarre desert-like challenge in the middle of the countryside. Last year's winners we just saw there in their MAN truck, Altenberg and Siebt, and this is German pairing Jäger and Delp in their Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. They're very familiar indeed with this event. This is their 3rd entry on the Munich-Breslau. And they are also Europa Truck Trial champions in the prototype class, so they've got pretty impressive off-road experience. This is Wagner and Frank in their diesel Landy. And at the end of the stage, like in other forms of rallying, getting their time card stamped, and that's vital just to show that you've been there and how long you took, of course. One of the Dutch teams here, prevalence of orange gives you that clue. Oosting and Oosting's Suzuki. And behind them, the Jeep of Austrian pairing Schatzmar and Tiefengraber. And these Jeep Cherokees proving very familiar indeed for viewers of off-road events in Germany and Austria. They really do enjoy those. Just occasionally, the competitors get so excited about finishing the stage fast that they go right past the time control, which doesn't help them. This is a German pairing of Peter and Müller, and the truck is called a Robur. Another familiar outline, this truck, a Ural. You see those a lot in the truck trials. The bike is being led by Lars Kramer, off-road vehicles being led by a Puch, and the Ural running away with the trucks at the moment. Well, after driving the 260 kilometers between Seftenberg in the eastern Germany and Zagen in Poland. They start another stage. This is the first of Polish sections and nicknamed the Little Sahara. A few more trees than you might expect to see in the Sahara. 42 kilometers, and this is where the really tough stuff really starts. Well, away they head with a lot of sand ahead of them, hence the nickname, obviously. That's the Dutch pairing of Van Moorselen and Van der Burgt in their Jeep, and this is Grimm and Knecht in their G-Wagon. Now the co-drivers here leaping out and running up to the checkpoint, and some of them giving the co-drivers quite a run. Always impressive to get your co-driver working hard for it. This is Hütter and Zimmermann. And they're grinding to a halt here. So the marshal taking matters into his own hand, being a little bit sympathetic and going over and signing the time card without them having to get out and do it. Well, the bike's making slightly easier work of this. That's Olivier Pouquet on his KTM, making it all the way through. And this is Petra Plantikau. She broke down right at the end of the stage on her KTM, didn't quite make it out, but she will get the bike fixed and be ready for the next day. Sun is starting to set and some competitors still out there. Matthias Heidt here on his Suzuki. And here is the German trio, Weber and Kuban in their Tatra. So the bikes, the trucks and the cars all taking their time there. Lars Kramer still in front. No change in the off-road vehicle lead either, but the trucks, well, Vicker and Habermeyer are still out there. So, Erg Sagen, the loop around Sagen. The big feature of this special stage is the start for 10 at a time, heading off with the first row of bikes. It's a 42-kilometer lap. They have to do it twice, making an 84-kilometer special stage, even by my calculations. Well, as you can see, the bike is there. That was Andreas Bühler, and making a mistake and getting going. And that's very important here to try and make up for lost time when you do fall, and falls are pretty much to be expected. Seen KTMs and Husebergs. Petra Plantikau on her KTM going through, repaired after failing to finish. This is Lars Kramer, the bike leader, incidentally, on number 5. 20-second lead overnight, but during the course of this stage, he increases the lead from 20 seconds to 15 minutes. Away go the cars and the trucks, 10 at a time. Their course is longer, though, 126 kilometers. They go around the course 3 times. Boy, do they ever kick up some dust. Well, dust and sand very much a feature of the course. As you can see, the trails being left through this huge area of sandland, and water featuring as well strongly. 250 here. This is Kosmela and Dawn in their G-Wagon, checking in and heading on. Another Jeep, Kutina and Krantz, finding themselves in the right place at the end of their high-speed run. This is a Magirus, Kalber and Opgenoth. And after all the desert, suddenly into the trees and into the slurry. This is the Eckstein Feigheld Jeep. And that's what happens when you don't quite get it right in the water. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, they managed to get it started again, and finally finding the traction to get themselves out. You'll have to be a little bit more careful next time. This is a French pairing, Bernardis and Devisky in their Land Rover. And, well, they thought they were wet already, but when the truck goes past, they found out that they could get an awful lot wetter. That's the German trio, Peiss, Mansky and Scheidt, that they will have to thank for that heavy shower. Well, look at the fording abilities being shown here. This Range Rover getting stuck deep, deep, deep up to the windows, and the trucks, well, they really don't care. They're keeping their speed up so they don't get stuck. Here the Thatcher helping to pull them out. This is the Ziegler, Wust and Meyer trio from Germany in their Thatcher. It must be almost as terrifying being in the car being towed at this speed as it was being swamped by the bow waves. Well, this is what we came for, he said. It's a real treat. It's tough, but we knew it was going to be tough. So this old lady dates back to 1980. We can't really afford too much. We went through the first time without any problems, but this time we... well, I'm getting a bit tired after the second leg, and he said, made a mistake. Anyway, he said you can see at least some of the other competitors have been sportsmen. The man, they kept all going. They didn't want to pull us out, but the Thatcher did, and that's the kind of camaraderie that keeps us going on the event, he says. Well, there in the long shot you could see this man's Fiat Panda. He said, well, we had a stupid idea of doing the event, and then my colleague said that if you were going to do it, you would only do it in a really stupid car, and the most stupid we could think of was the Fiat Panda. No one took me seriously when I said I would do it, but I'm still going. Well, with the help of some friends, he certainly is. The Fiat Panda 4x4 with its Steyr-Puch transmission system just about keeping him going. Lars Kramer then 15 minutes in charge of the bikes. The Daimler-Benz pair still ahead in the off-road, and the trucks being led this time by the man. Mass start for the third stage. The Hannibal 98 bikers, 93 cars and trucks heading off. Heading from Zagen and southwest Poland, moving towards the northwest and Wertzieben. This is a real marathon stage. Special section with 146 kilometers of tank testing ground ahead of them. A short rest and then another long link stage of 230 kilometers. If you can find your way out of the murk. Back again then onto the tank testing ground for the last 20 kilometers. Here is one of the two Polish teams, Robert Wozicki and Krzysztof Francewicz, and newcomers Artur Latowski and Michał Bartosiak. Four Poles, all off-road enthusiasts. I love their Jeeps, they're excellent. Well, a little rest, 90 minutes, and you can see that they pretty much need it. Scheduled by the organisers before they go on to the last 20 kilometres, and this is the real backbreaker on the very tough tank testing ground. Number 210 there, the Bauer & Bauer Daimler-Benz G-Wagon. This is the number 259 machine. It's an Iltis. This Rover is of Clara and Stäbler. And Schatzmeier and Tiefengraber there in their Jeep. We've seen them before, still continuing, looking pretty competitive. But as the sun goes down, time occasionally for the odd repair. And for some people, the special section will strain their eyesight as they continue into the night. Well, no matter how late it gets, the competitors will always find the marshals at their post, burning the midnight oil. And most of the midnight oil has already been burnt and heading towards the early morning hours, and the competitors are still trying to find their way to the end of the course. The KTM now leading, Hans Schmidt in charge of the bikes, Suzuki ahead in the off-road vehicles, and the Ural now dropped out of the top three in the trucks. Day 4 starting with a hearty breakfast, and the Rally Catering Service doing a sterling job for the nearly 200 competitors, plus all the other crew as well. Heading off on the fourth stage in pairs, a 53-kilometre loop, again on another military testing ground. 120 kilometres then of a link stage before they get to another military testing ground, and 130 kilometres of tank testing ground being used for the final part of stage 4. So some pretty impressive distances of rough road driving. Well, here on the fairly straightforward river crossing, the French pair Bourton and Planche making their way over easily enough. This is Jens Peter, the number 65 Yamaha, taking it easy as well. Very sensible approach in the unseen fording. Dutch pairing in their Iltis, Scherpen and Fietwern. And this is the Tatra, spectacular as ever. Now, the cameramen had better watch out. This is again Aringer and Holub, the Austrians, in their truck. And Nordenbruch and Kreienberg in their man. Another pairing well known from the Europa truck trial. Another pairing as well, Angela Herrendorfer and Frank Kessler in their Mergerus that we know from the truck trial. How's their event been going? Well, very beautiful scenery. It's very tough, and sometimes you find yourself alone and in deep trouble, wondering how you're going to get out of it. And but it's going okay. So it's a fabulous event, says Angela, and you really learn your own limits. So you pass little borders, little barriers all the way. It's great. Well, Hans Schmidt certainly thinks so. Lars Kramer still unable to overtake him in the bikes. New leader in the off-road vehicles as everything changes there, but Winker and Schaefer still ahead in the trucks. Well, very historical names to these stages. Cleopatra is the 5th stage, a mere 140 kilometres, but quite a lot of it is going to be underwater. Just saw the Swiss driver Kluger doing the rally solo without any assistance in his vehicle. Here he is in the Mitsubishi Pajero, comes through 45th in the 4x4s. Josef Paulus on his KTM at the same spots and trying to find the nice shallow edges all the way around. See the dragon's teeth there, tank traps being pulled out to stop the competitors having trouble. Christian Hug here on his Husqvarna, and colleagues Frick Daniel and Alexander Meyer. The leading cars going well. This is the Berta Drager, number 205. They're 4th at the moment, and they're 14 seconds away from a podium position. 203, Klaus and Panol, and they've been in the top 3 all the way through the event. This is Bowery and Rotamel, and they are among the leaders all the way through the event. Second place there, the number 310 truck of Vic and Habermeyer. Bauer and Bauer, the sisters, in 220 in their Daimler-Benz there, and these are the Poles. Brzezinski and Frazinskiewicz. Here's number 314. The Tatras always seem to work in pairs. This is the Jaeger, Uzbek and Rhine pairing coming towards us. Again, the cameraman had better look out. This is Andreas Tremer on his KTM. Andreas Auer on the Kawasaki, followed by Alphonse Schmidt, another of the seemingly ubiquitous Austrian KTM machines. But Lars Kramer taking back control of the bikes on that stage from Schmidt. Berta and Draeger still leading the off-roads in their Opel, and Aringer and Holub leaping to the top of the truck class. Into the 6th and final stage, the Siegerstappe, the victory run. 66 kilometers, but still on pretty tough going. Josef Aringer is the man who will go on to lead the event in the trucks class. Lost some time on the final day, rescuing others. But with a 1 hour and 20-minute lead, he had plenty of time to help others out. This is Harold Brookmeyer on the KTM, trying to find the easiest way across this particular stream. Lutz Knauer deciding to let his feet do the walking this time. A few kilometers further on, the MAN is this Andreas Pusch and Philipp Jakob, Franco-German team, and a Franco-German team here as well. This is the Cool Franken Angelmeer, Iveco, the 317. Well, running to the end of the stage, Frank Steigner, one of the organisers, tells us how he's seen it all. I think he said we can be pretty pleased with the way that the event's gone. No major problems. And he says it's now a pretty well-established event, so the organisation runs quite smoothly. And we've had entries from Switzerland, Belgium, the Netherlands, Italy, France, Germany and Poland. So it's been a pretty international mix. It's the 5th time we've run the rally, and I'm sure that next year, as soon as we get the authorization from the various authorities, we'll be running it again. Well, as for the competitors, how did it go? Motorbike rider Jas Kremer saying that from the beginning of the prologue it'd been going pretty well for him. The first stage I rushed into it and I got a 30-minute lead, then I managed to keep the lead, especially in the marathon stage. I'm very happy with that, and it helped me finally take first overall. Well, of course, the bike lead we saw seesaw throughout the competition, but Kremer never out of the top 3, even when he wasn't leading. Well, Berta and Drager finally finishing second in their Opel in the cars, and saying we've got pretty enthusiastic about the event last year, so we thought we'd take part again this year. The course is tough. It's one of the toughest, I think, anywhere, and it shouldn't get any harder, but it shouldn't get any easier. And that's a sentiment echoed by Peter Sperlich, who was second, and he said, I really enjoyed this event. We were very lucky with the weather this year. It's very tough, it has to be said. It was a lot of international event competitors have come here and said, no, this really is as tough as it gets. But it's good training if you want to go on to other events. You have to navigate well. The terrain's very difficult. There's a good test of all kind of riding and driving, he says. Plenty of sand, like in Africa, a lot of water as well, which you need a very different amount of skill to get through on your bike. You can't just plow into it without thinking. It demands a lot of mental effort as well as physical effort, and it's a very good combination on the event. Well, now let's have a look at the winners in the 3 classes and the final events. Everybody letting their hay down at the post party. Lars Kremer, as we saw, winning the bikes with his Yamaha. Michel Reidel winning the twin section of the bikes. And there he is in the centre. Kraus and Pansodel in the push, winning in the off-road class, just beating the Opel, and Auger and Holub in their man, the Ural staging a last gasp snatch attempt, but failing to take victory. Well, that's it from the 5th running of the München-Breslau Rally, one of Europe's toughest off-road events. We'll leave you with some pictorial highlights to give you a further taste of the event.
czerwca do Malborka przyjechało 46 samochodów terenowych. 36 wozów zostało zgłoszonych do startu w Maltropie, zlocie zorganizowanym przez Malborski Klub Miłośników Samochodów Terenowych 4x4. Wśród nich przeważały rosyjskie gazy i łazy, choć wśród samochodowych rodzynków nie zabrakło również Mercedesa klasy M. Rajd składał się z 6 odcinków specjalnych. Te, zdaniem wielu uczestników, były bardzo trudne technicznie. Na jednym z OS-ów uszkodzonych zostało 8 samochodów. Rozsypywały się głównie mosty napędowe, skrzynki rozdzielcze i zawieszenia, choć w samochodzie jednego z uczestników odmówił posłuszeństwa również silnik.
No było trochę.
Gablota wam się rozchodzi.